They used to go around, and my parents used to tell me, don't go out, son, there'll be a problem. Let me sort of, there's a time limitations and things like this. I'll tell you something. Racism's always been there. Sometimes been more, sometimes less. I'm not afraid of it. But nowadays I'm actually very proud. I could go out at the age of 65 and not be fearful when I attend demonstrations. Those days when I used to go, I used to rely on white colleagues who used to stand up with me in solidarity. And I actually thank you, all those comrades previously now, who walk out there, join with me, because that gives me courage, that gives me support. And I've no doubt it does send young people when we turn together, and the terminology black and white unite together, because we can fight that. And then in 1990, Bill Morris, the first General Secretary of the Union, stood for election, and I was involved, and I took 4 weeks leave to campaign, because I saw the campaign turning racism. You know what the campaign was? There was a guy called George Wright from Wales who stood against Bill Morris. He called the first election foul, so they ran it. They found out, that Wright found out, and his supporters. In fact, lots of people, those days if you remember, leaflets were printed, there were no pictures, cost was too high. So it used to be just names of people. They discovered actually, a lot of people didn't know that Bill Morris in fact was black. I knew he was black, but lots of white people didn't know. So they actually put a picture of George Wright on the left, right side, they put a picture of Bill Morris and put his name down. The message really was here, he's black, I'm white. And they had a slogan in the area, right is white. That's the leaflet they produced. And one of the other slogans they adopted actually, don't let the coon call the tune. Now that's the amount of racism we had. When I saw those leaflets, I was, firing on 6 cylinders rather than 5. Because I was so mad, so annoyed, saying, look, I've been fighting this for nearly 20 years, and it's still there, it's not going away. Bill Morris won. Then of course the TUC, the trade unions, would not allow us access. And there was a point that was involved, well, we wanted to set up trade unions for black workers. I fought against that. But the principle of trade unionism worldwide is this, that you unify workers together and not actually cut them as black and white. And if you remember Bernie Grant, Diane Abbott, all these other individuals, they were there actually at the time. There was a massive big fight amongst us. I was accused of being a right winger, and you name it, a commie and a lefty, but I've never been able to actually make up my mind of which it is. And if anybody got it right, I actually fought injustice. When Bradford University offered me a doctorate last year for fighting against injustice, I was very proud to receive it, because I felt, yes, that's what I've been doing. My colleagues said that when I got the OBE, they said to me, it's not your contribution, it's my contribution, every bus driver who helped me and assisted me, who voted for me for 40 years to be in that position. And when I attended my last TUC Race Nation conference this year, and they invited me to receive some nil gift vouchers, and I wasn't sure, I wasn't expecting it. And I actually said to them, I said, when you fight racism, there is no retirement. So let me say this to you. I'll be there all the way, every way of the way, because racism is something that you actually fight. And the other issue I want to make about one point, finally, is, there's this myth, there's this belief, the Muslim community actually is against anti-gay and lesbian people. Let me say this to you. I'm a Muslim, proud to be one. I'm a Pakistani, Kashmiri, proud to be one. I'm British and Bradfordian, proud to be one. You can be all those things. But what it is, I fought for equality, because you cannot fight for equality for Muslims and you don't fight for women. You cannot fight for equality for black people and not fight against lesbian people. So I've always supported the issue of gay lesbian people, and continues to do so the day I die. And I said, let's not have this concept that goes around, but I go around sometimes, I get questions. What are your beliefs about gay lesbian people? I said, they have the right to have equal rights, the way they live. I fought for women to be able to right to wear a miniskirt, and I fight for women to be able to wear a hijab. My daughter doesn't wear it, my wife doesn't wear it, my daughter-in-law does. I respect her as much as I respect my wife and my daughter. And I think it's a woman's right to choose. It's something we have to support as socialists, as internationalists. Colleagues, there's lots of things I can talk to you about, but of course, time limitations. Thank you for being so patient. Thank you.